Hey, Maxim here. So, again outside. It's getting warmer here in Russia. Soon it will be, what do you call it, spring, when all this snow, with the snow. So the snow is gonna melt, and through the effort, nature will come back and make everything warm again. And as you can guess, the effort is the topic of today's video. So I woke up to the notification from Facebook that 2 or 3 people I think liked my post on the fact that it doesn't matter who you are or what you are or how good you are, how perfect you are in what you do. What matters is the effort that you put behind. And if we apply that to relationship, which I talk a lot about, is that it's the effort to show up. It's the ability to put the effort every day. And that's not as easy as you think. So, I know a lot of, like, if you look at like Abraham Hicks or Tony Robbins or like some more people, they'll be like, oh, you just need to be conscious and show up every day and be in the right vibrations. But not many people talk about how do you do that exactly, and how do you like go from consciousness to not so consciousness to complete subconsciousness, and you go back. And the thing that I realized, there's no state of like, oh, I'm so conscious now. It's a spectrum. It's a spectrum which we go through every day. Moreover, not every day, every minute. Every minute when a thought pops in your head, a thing pops up in your head which says, I like this girl. Like, let's say you're sitting in a bar and you look at someone and like, oh, I like this girl. So this thought is actually twofold, right? So there's like a conscious thought there, and there's a lot of subconsciousness, like a lot. And it's based on like caretaker projections and things like this. And in that moment, you can choose what to do with it. You can choose to go and explore, or you can choose not to. And as you choose to go and explore, what happens in the next moment is that your subconscious now starts telling you about how horribly wrong it can go, and that you approaching that girl shouldn't. Maybe it's not a good idea because, hey, but she might just not like you and say no, and then you'll be crushed, and you're not sure you can survive that. So that is the moment when you can choose again. You can choose to do what your subconscious tells you and just back off, or you can consciously choose to go with the challenge. So you can make an effort to choose in that moment to be conscious. But it happens moment for moment. We cannot be always conscious. It's physically exhausting. So like when we sit and play video games, just like chilling or like watching a movie, we need time in our life when we can just not be conscious. And this is why we like to entertain ourselves, and like sometimes people shut down their consciousness completely with drinking, because when you start drink, you just like, oh yeah, whatever, and it goes. So for me the being conscious is actually not a state. It's the choice that you make every moment, and sometimes you make the right choice, sometimes you make the wrong choice. In a relationship particularly, this is where it's really hard, because as I've been posting many times already, people tend to think that relationship is hard work only when you start. So, and then they call it hard work when they separate, and they're like, oh my god, it was so horrible. But the hard work is not the parts which are horrible, or not the parts which are dating, when you're cornering your partner, like, oh, I don't know how gonna show up. Oh, should I like wear this or wear that? That's not, or like go on a date and play this weird game where you like, I shouldn't call them, not say they should call me, because there's like a dating rules and all this crap. That's the easy part. The hard part starts when you're in a relationship and your partner triggers the fuck out of you. And they will trigger the fuck out of you. Trust me on that. It doesn't matter how conscious you are, how much you understand, how much both of you understand that you will trigger each other. Like me and my previous partner Lena, we knew that we were gonna trigger each other. We specifically talked about it, and we agreed on specific things that we're not gonna do, we're not gonna say to each other, even when we feel triggered. And with all that, wow, sliding on the hill. With all that, we still got triggered, and we triggered each other. And I think for me, it's took a massive amount of effort, and how we both, me and Lena, managed to process so many things and be conscious in moments where you're just so triggered, and the only thing you want to do is to just tell your partner to go and F themselves, because this is what you do when you're triggered. Or you just want to run away, you just want to go and buy the ticket to another country and leave. Because why the heck are you in this relationship? Like, it doesn't bring me joy, it doesn't bring me that and this, and like it starts this roller coaster in your head. And the being conscious is when you can choose in this moment to sit down and look at yourself, not blame your partner. Sit down and look at yourself and figure out why is it happening? Why is your brain right now trying to tell you to run away? Why is your brain right now trying to tell you that this is not the life you wanted? Because 5 minutes ago your brain was like, oh my god, this is the best time in my life. How did it happen and why? This is what is an effort, what is called effort. The effort is being able to make this choice, even when you are the most triggered, and show up, and sit down with yourself, reflect, and figure it out what is happening. And you don't need a partner for that. I was just doing a journal, and Elena told me about this thing, and we actually encountered this in last 3 months in our relationship, is that she falls asleep when her subconsciousness kicks in and she doesn't want to be there, she falls asleep. And I totally remember I had the same experience, like in the past, when I used to work for the companies I didn't want to, and I would just like sit there and I would, like in the morning, it's like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. I was like 10 minutes ago I was fresh and like, no worries. Then I come to work, I sit down in front of the computer, and this happens. And then I go drink coffee, and I can like talk to people normally, and everything is okay. I go sit down, I work on this task again, and I'll be like, and I've noticed this happens every time when I don't want to be doing it. And when I choose to not look at why is this happening. So I was journaling right now, and this started happening, which is interesting, which I think I'm realizing that when this happens and you're doing something around your own self-reflection or things coming up and like you start falling asleep, which is what happened between me and Lena, that is it's a protection, it's a simple protection mechanism, because your subconscious has a very strong power around controlling your life, controlling your body. So what it can do is it can just shut down your brain. It's just like, hey, it's time to sleep, and you can't really do anything about it. So I was sitting there and like writing a journal and I feel the things coming up. Like there's like a thing and like I'm writing it and it's like I'm falling asleep. I'm like keep writing but I'm falling asleep, and it was really hard experience. And I didn't have this experience like this for like a while now, and I like look at what I wrote, and what I realized that the interesting thing, the thing which was coming up to me, is that, and that might be just most my experience, but in a lot of partners you see the mirror. You see when you tell them something, like if you ever told your partner some things like this, like you are always so disorganized or things like this. Try to look at your own patterns of behavior, and is it you saying those things, or is it you who's saying those things to yourself? Because that's what that's what the realization which I had in like during journaling sessions is that a lot of the things which I blame, like was saying my partner is not this was me, but a mirrored version of that. And in the mirror, obviously, like when you look at something in the mirror, it looks different, right? And for me, the mirror is like, oh, that's like so more than me. Like, let's say, addictive behaviors, right? I'm like, I can binge, like I did this weekend, right? I went and like play video games for like the whole day. But I know about my addictive behaviors, and I'm like, I'm not as addict as the partner that I had, but the reality is you're just looking from a different perspective. That's it. So if we go back to the point of effort, is that I'd like to really appreciate the efforts of all my partners who's been with me and managed to go through all this shit and like all this shit storm and be conscious through most of it. And that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of effort to be able to recognize that this is my subconsciousness, and it's trying to protect itself, and I don't necessarily need to do what it tells me to do. So when you try to run away, when you try to fall asleep, when you're working on something and you feel like you just need to stop and go do something else and procrastinate, that means there is a challenge there. That means there's a challenge for you to see, can you be conscious in that moment? Can you be conscious and choose to figure out? And sometimes it's simple as if you're sleepy, go take care of yourself and take a nap, but most likely you actually weren't sleepy. If you feeling that you like falling, maybe your body starts. Sometimes it's just a matter of taking care of yourself and having a break. Sometimes it's a matter of being able to stay and keep pushing, as they call it. And that's what distinguishes for me the conscious relationship from unconscious relationships. In the conscious relationship, you choose to process those things consciously and you show up. Unfortunately, as much as I don't want to say this, it's a show up every freaking day. Every time that something comes up, you need to show up. You can't just show up for like, hey, we're just gonna show up for like first 3 months and there will be a conscious relationship after that. No. And there will be moments when you won't be able to show up, and that's fine. We're not perfect. We're not meant to be perfect. But being able to consistently see that, okay, I didn't show up here and there was something coming up, so let me come back to this and see what was that, why was it. Go and journal about the issue that came up. Try to find what was inside yourself triggering it, because I can guarantee you that this is nothing to do with your partner. They are not at fault when things are coming up for you. It's your own responsibility to take care of those things. And if you don't take care of those things, then you're in unconscious relationship, which is probably 90% of the world is. So unfortunately, we like to say a relationship is all about feelings. So feelings is our subconsciousness. This is what creates subconsciousness, and we need feelings. I'm not saying don't have feelings. You'd be like a monster, like like the logic robot. I will be in a relationship with you only if you comply to this specific list. Hi, Lena. Yeah, I know you told me that. uh, uh, yeah, but like, there's also feelings involved. It's not just that, and conscious effort on showing up every day is what counts, not how perfect you are. Because this conscious effort will give you growth, and if you show up for your partner in a better state, it will help them to grow too, and give them growth, so that you both grow, and that's what's most important. Because let's be honest, well, sometimes you look at the world and you wonder why I was so fucked up. It's because we're still living on the like, I feel like this is not the right thing to do. Don't just feel it. Use your consciousness. Maximum.